All right, first, I wanted to get these things like a year ago. I wasn't in a position to buy them a year ago. This is for my production setup because I got speakers behind me that probably cost more. So it wasn't about how much they cost like for our studio. I'm very like I'm very staunch about like what I spend my money on. Like if the studio made it, I could spend it on the studio. If my production lab made it, then I could spend it on my production lab. So I got the budget to buy these speakers finally. And let me tell you, they blew my mind, man. Like I watched probably 100 reviews. I'm not even lying. Maybe not 100, but I watched over like 25 easy. Because like this was a pair of speakers, I'm like, this can't be real, man. Barefoot is giving us a pair of speakers for less than $2,000. They designed them. Another company is selling them for less than $2,000. I didn't believe it until I got them in my lab. I'm listening to like things I've mixed on them or like just things I produced on them. I'm listening, I'm comparing them to my Atoms. I got a pair of Atom, the AX5s. I got the last generation of the best ones they had. Not the best ones, the SVs are better. But you get what I'm saying, like a lot of studios, we got a pair of the 7s here. A lot of studios got Atoms in it, the AX series. Blew them out of the water, don't even compare. Like they not even in the same class. It's like a NBA All-Star playing against like a grade school basketball player, man. Like literally, the difference is that extreme. I could not believe that these speakers sounded like this. It's really got me rethinking everything. I'm literally thinking about, okay, cool, how much these Barefoots cost? Because if these sound good, this good, I can imagine what the Footprint 01s or 02s sound like. So soon you're gonna see one of these pair of speakers replaced with a pair of those Footprints. That's how good these speakers were. Loud, punchy. I couldn't put them directly on my laptop, on my desktop for a near field, like so I can have like a near field little triangle. No problem. I pushed them back a little bit. Those things push so hard. I think they like 230 watts each. That's like almost like a PA speaker. Like my little production setup is too small for that. Man, like I had to like be cognizant of when I'm switching between the Atoms and those, because the Atoms, they're just not in the same class, man. It's like they just not in the same league. Like the Atoms are good for like long-term mixing because that tweeter is it's kind of dulled out. Now it really sounds dull compared to those outputs. So yeah, I heard someone, like I had listened to a review that said that if you got Atoms, it's gonna be a crazy step. I didn't believe it was gonna be that much of a step up because the Atom 7s are like $700 each. So I didn't think that a speaker that costs exactly the same as them, because you know, $700 each, because the Frontiers, let me get back to that. The Frontiers are $1,400. I got them on sale for like $1,100 because of Black Friday. It was like 15% off. So I pulled the trigger, copped them, had the budget to make it happen. The Atoms, so I got the Atom 7s here. I got the 5s at home. I didn't believe it was gonna be a night and day difference the way people were saying. Obviously, if you got a pair of KRKs or like some little cheaper M-Audios or something, yeah, it's gonna be a crazy difference. But I didn't think it was gonna be that much of a difference from a speaker that was the exact same price. Blows it out of the water, not even comparison. There's no disrespect to Atom, because I haven't heard the new A series. That new A series may be 10 times better than these last AX series. But from what I heard, yeah, I'm getting rid of these 7s, man. We getting Barefoots. Because the smallest Barefoots is like 3 Gs. I don't want the Frontiers because this room is a little bit bigger. We need a little bit more power in here. So, which we was running into that issue anyway, because like people all the way back on the couch, they not hearing the same thing I'm hearing right here in front of the speaker. So we had to think about what speakers we were gonna get to give us more power anyway. I was just gonna go up to the Atom 8s because the Atom 8s are like 250 watts each. The Atom 8X or 8X8, whatever. I knew those was like almost like PA speaker power. Nah, we going Barefoot, because them gonna be $1,000 each. So we might as well just go up a little bit more and just grab the Barefoots, man. It's like luxury. It's like going from like a Chevy to a BMW, fam. Like that's literally what it felt like. Like I ride around in my Chevy all the time. And I'm talking about we passing Cadillac with it. We going up to BMW. That's how it felt. Like the highs, it felt like the person was right there talking to you, because I had to play around with them a little bit until I got a nice little triangle. Because like I said, I had to push them back. They still near field. Let me be clear on that. They still near field. So you still got to get your triangle right. You still got to get your right placement to make that triangle. But because of the SPL of them, I'm able to push them back a little bit more and just make that triangle a little bit bigger so they don't got to sit directly on my desktop. I bought a pair of stands, put them next to this desk on both sides. Man, it's a punchy low. It's not a low. So I think they say they go down to like 40 something, 50 something. They don't go that low. I say they go around like down to like 80, 70. You know what I'm saying? Like they replicate that good. So you hear the punch of the kicks like crazy. It was like kind of throwing me off. I'm like, this sounds weird because like I'm not used to hearing the punch that punchy. So the mid-range, I feel like you just reach in and just grab something, man. Like I'm hearing stuff in my mixes I was not hearing on my Adams. I don't really mix too much on the Genelecs because the Genelecs are good speakers too. But on my Adams, those are my favorite speakers because I mix things like long term. I'm probably not supposed to, but I'll mix a song for like 2 hours, man, because my mind and my attention drifts. So I go in and out. So that's why the Adams were good for me, because the tweeter on them, they keep things from like sizzling. But that's a good thing and a bad thing. I got to do a lot of back and forth because I boost a lot of the highs sometimes because they don't replicate as well. On this one, man, like I say, man, like I tell anybody, my test is always gonna be listening to like Drake. I don't really listen to Drake music like that, but I think 40 the top of the food chain, or at least one of the people with how he's mixing and like the sounds and the textures and all that. So I'm listening to like, man, this stuff, it feel like dude is right here in the room with me, man. It's nuts. Those Frontier joints, man. Like I say, they made by Barefoot. They give you the Barefoot sound for less and less control too. You don't have any room or boundary controls on them, which kind of threw me off at first because when I first started listening to them compared to my Barefoots, I would immediately turn the highs down on them. But I'm glad I didn't have that option because I started listening to, what helped me out was me starting listening to modern music is one thing, but when I listen to a song that I've heard 1,000 times, like Biggie's second album, you know what I'm saying? The first album was still gutter, was still, I wouldn't say underground, but the second album was caveat as far as how it sounded. Whether you like Big or not, the mixing on Life After Death is phenomenal. So I always listen to something like Somebody's Gotta Die, something with all the texture and all the stuff going on, the sound effects and everything, just hearing it out of those speakers, I'm like, oh, okay, now I got them. Because I had to listen to something that I've heard hundreds of times. I haven't heard any Drake song hundreds of times or anything modern hundreds of times. So I had to go listen to something that I know was mixed well that I've heard hundreds of times. What's going on? It's Volcano Beats, the Sampler King, and guess what? You live in the studio with Vol. And while you here, we're gonna get into all type of things. Plugins, hardware, concepts, techniques, mix breakdowns, beat breakdowns, the whole yard. And just my general thoughts of being a producer in this crazy atmosphere that we in right now. You here, you might as well stay a while. Hit that subscribe, man. Rock with me, stay along with me, stay in tune with me. Come on in, wipe your feet at the door, wipe your feet. Yeah, wipe your feet when you come in the crib, fam. We here, we gonna vibe, we gonna work. So hit that subscribe for me, stay in tune, let's get it going. But yeah, they worth the price of admission. Like I say, that little price tag, it throws you off because you're like, man, $1,400, but you're getting Barefoot for $1,400. And we already paid $1,400 for the speakers anyway. Like I say, the Adams cost $1,400. Those Genelecs was $2,000. Like, we already paying that much for the speakers. We just don't look at it like that because we buying them one at a time, or it's two added up to $1,800, then we not looking at it like, okay, that's $1,800. No, Yes, we already paying that. Like I said it before, and I said it many times. I'm not a lower class engineer / producer or a high class. I'm middle class. So spending $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 on a pair of speakers is normal for us. Up to $3,000, $4,000. That's normal for the middle class. Now you got the people with the PMCs. They done spent 20 grand on their speakers. Like, nah, I'm not on that level. Or what's my favorite? The Osbergers and all that. Nah, I'm not there yet. But I could get closer with these barefoot. I'm glad I grabbed them. I wish I would have grabbed them last year. I wish I would have had faith last year. Because I was looking, not exactly last year, early this year. I was looking, they came out like 2 years ago. That's what's so crazy about them. I'm surprised like more people don't have them, man, because it's just a different speaker, man. It's just a luxurious sound. They coaxial, so it's no tweeter. They both come out, so they say that helps with the stereo imaging and like the phase correction and everything between the speakers, because both the low and the high are coming out the same point at the same time. So they say that helps with like the phase correlation. I didn't really hear that because I haven't really mixed anything on them like that yet. But from just hearing music and like producing on them, playing my synths through them, like doing some basic mixing on them, man, I'm so upset I waited, because like literally like the last project I mixed, I would have did it faster if I had these speakers. Because like I say, it's not just about how loud they are, how much high end in them. No, you hearing stuff that you weren't hearing. And I know that's what they say with like the better the speakers you get, you hear things that you weren't hearing. And now I got them connected directly because of how many pairs of speakers I got in my production setup. I had to connect them directly to the interface, which was another great thing too. I connect them directly to the 7/8 output on the Arturia that I copped. So I just turn them up and down on the interface instead of it being the drummer being in a chain, because I got other speakers connected to the drummer. So I got 2 speakers and a sub connected to it already. So I had to go old school with it. I'm probably gonna get one of those little passive little monitor controllers, honestly, because I don't like fiddling with that thing and fiddling with the software. So I'll probably get one of the passive monitor controllers just to have control over those speakers, because normally I would like try to balance the speakers out. So like these behind me are like sort of balanced. The Genelecs are way louder than the Atoms. So I try to balance between, so when you go in between the speakers, they're not super loud. Those two not even in the same ballpark, so it's not even like pointless to do that. So I'm gonna get like one of those little JBL little patch little things and just have it just to turn those speakers up and down, just so I won't have to fiddle with my interface. I keep pointing to the side because that's why I got my Arturia in a little rack to my side. I didn't want to fight to put it on my desk. I got it on my side. So yeah, man, I would say cop them. If you can put it on a credit card, or if you got the 14 straight cash to buy them, they worth the 14. I bought them for 11 because I caught them on sale. They worth the money, man. There was no tax. They just sent them like for the price. That was what was crazy too. No shipping, no tax. Okay, let me get that. Anything you can buy nowadays in Illinois with no tax with these crooks, you got to do it. So it was no tax, no shipping. I got them like 3-4. Nah, it wasn't 3-4 days. Let me stop lying. It took like a week. I don't know where they came from. I didn't even pay attention to what the label said. But yeah, they came with little pads that go under the speaker, which is cool to keep them from scratching on like your desktop or your speaker stand. I just got a pair of like Proline little steel monitor stands. I was gonna get the little sexy wood ones, but I didn't want to do it. I'm like, nah, because I want to be able to go up and down with them to figure out the best placement for me and my setup. So I ended up just going with the steel Proline ones. So yeah, they work, man. Like, man, like I say, the power coming out of them, because this the first time. No, it's not the first time. It's the second time I really heard speakers with the coaxial, where the tweeter and the low you know what I'm saying? The low speaker, they both together. That's only like the second time I heard that in a studio speaker. And the first time I was blown away. It was I think it was Cali Audio. They got a pair. Like they got a big boy pair that's like 1,400 each. It's either Cali or Fluid, one of them. They got a pair that's like 1,400 each. I heard them at NAMM. So this was the second time in real life I'm hearing that coaxial thing. Man, like it's like it punches. It hits you right in the nose. So those are definitely a cop. If you can afford that 1,400, get them. Get them. They're gonna change. You're not even gonna go back. Like if you on a level like I was, like HS speakers, KRKs, JBLs, Adams, get them. You're not even gonna go back to those. You can't go back because you can't go back from the luxury vehicle. Nah, I don't want to go back to the Chevy that don't even got the power seat from the Benz. I don't want to go back from that. So yeah. These output Frontiers are like that, like upgrading the type of car you in to luxury. Get them.